if you're playing a healer right now, we'd love to hear from you about what you think of the changes. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Piggy McSquee of Sergeant Tannis. What's up, Piggy?
What's up, guys? First time caller. I forgot to mention that to Kookie, but
thanks for calling. Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Are you the Piggy that's on screen right now dancing?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Red outfit.
Also, a better glamour than Juxta.
Exactly. You know what? Literally everyone has noticed that you have a better glamour.
Not cool.
Better glamour than Juxta. More red than Juxta as well. I mean, there's so much red in
Jesus, did you even try?
in your glamour versus all of the mauve, and I see a little bit of gold and some silver. I see some gray on the hat, but I don't see much red going on with Juxta there. So we appreciate having you on.
Yeah. The reason why I called was like you asked about asking people to call in about like Square's marketing.
Yes.
For Stormblood.
Yes.
And I felt like they could have done it better. Like, promoting it on WrestleMania and Honey Buns. Dear God, why Honey Buns?
I know, right? It's an easy one to pick on, but it really is stupid.
Like, if they, putting it on, normal TV, during, a TV show commercial break,
Prime time,
that's fine. Yeah. But, no one's gonna fucking pick up the game during, WrestleMania. They could have just put the money, somewhere better. But granted, in my opinion, with all the advertisement they did, it feels like Stormblood has more active players right now than Heavensward did at launch.
I disagree totally. I think that Heavensward was more vibrant. There were more. I was interacting with and running into people in the overworld more regularly. Fates were more filled up. There were 5 or 6 fates that I ran past yesterday that were totally empty.
Okay, to be
during the launch of Heavensward, there was not a single fate that I could go into in any fucking zone, that was empty.
The reason you didn't run anybody in any fates is because they were all at Raubon.
I mean, that's fair.
And players have been conditioned not to do fates.
I'm going to take you off mute now.
Players have been conditioned not to do fates for an entire expansion.
Which is
remember
why they're giving all this bonus XP to fates.
And remember, in 2.x, players were just spamming, what was that, Dark... That one fate in Northern Thanalan, DD, for massive XP gains.
Yeah.
And we're exploiting rather.
Well, not just that, but when you were traveling from set piece to set piece, you saw people in secondary cities at quest givers. I have not seen that. I have not. And granted, this may have been because I was on after midnight.
I think it was.
The only place that I've seen people gathering was around Raubon, and I understand that that's a bottleneck, but you would think that if the player community was as robust as it was in Heavensward, that I would easily be running into as many people that I did in the overworld.
Yeah, that does seem weird. I mean, I had a opposite thing actually when I was in the Peaks. That's the one that we like, right? Yeah, when I was in the Peaks, I actually had quite a few people that were on the same quest legs as I did, and not that we needed help with the quest, but they went a lot smoother because basically everyone would jump onto the same mod, all get credit for it, and move on together. So. Yes,
and just an interesting point to note. During my entire time getting from the opening of Stormblood to Raubon, I did not have a single mob of anyone else's pop on top of me while I was doing MSQ. That was weird to me.
Oh, I was getting attacked by stuff all the time.
Really?
Yes.
The Leshies, fuck those guys.
No, Leshies are overworld. I'm talking about when you get to a destination and you pop something. Generally, if there's a lot of people doing the same content, you'll end up with, if it's a collection of 3 Garleans, you'll end up with 9 Garleans at some point, and you'll be like, okay, everyone's doing this right now. Never happened once.
Might have been
happened once.
Yeah, it might have been the playtime because I had that as well.
I will concede to that. However, I feel like I've noticed that during every patch, every expansion, and it seems like I actively wondered, where is everyone?
Yeah, I think the real test is going to come when the official actual launch happens and
Yeah.
people are stopped being bottlenecked and they get nice and spread out and we see exactly how things
I mean, it's
unfold.
good. Well, no, I think it's going to take 6 weeks. I mean, there's that honeymoon period that people initially have with any kind of new content.
honey
I
bun
think
period.
I think in 6 weeks we're going to be able to tell exactly where the enthusiasm level is, and I just I hate to be not the bearer of bad news, or I hate to be a pessimist, right?
Negative Nancy.
But here's the thing: is that I think in 6 weeks it's not going to be as high as everyone thinks it is right now.
No, I don't think it is either. Like I said, I mean, when Heaven's Word first came out, super psyched about it. And even though, yes, I want to get home to play the story, once that's over with, what am I going to end up doing?
This is like a glorified patch.
Grinding tomes, yeah. It's just a long patch we had to wait for.
It does, in some senses, it does feel like a big patch. Yeah, and that's not
All right,
really
Blue
what you.
Cloud-
That's not really what you want out of an expansion.
The reason that EU seems more full than Heaven's Ward is because they've added more EU servers. So for some reason, there's just a lot of you guys playing.
I mean that's one of it. Didn't they also segment that into a different whole
Like Shard now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say that EU servers are gonna be inherently more full, and I think players who are trapped on EU servers, now that you have that incentive program, you're gonna see a lot of migration off of data centers that are not centrally located towards what your ping is, and people moving more towards that. So I think that's pretty natural. But Piggy, thanks for the call. Real quick before we let you go, because this is your first time calling Limit Break Radio, what has been your favorite part of Stormblood so far?
To be honest, I actually like the machinist changes. Since I'm a machinist main, even though I'm just sitting as a samurai right now, like getting rid of the cast times on Gauss Barrel and giving it an overheat gauge kind of makes a little bit more sense for its class.
Yes, I agree. I agree. That feels a lot more natural, because one of the things that always bothered me about Gauss Barrel was that even though it felt temporary, like that cast time made you feel a little bit more rooted. And I like the idea that you're managing, trying not to go over a gauge as opposed to making an arbitrary one fill up. It feels more natural to the job.
Yeah, it's actually, if I were to level another job now, I've been giving serious consideration to that being machinist. The only thing that's stopping me is that job's kind of been tainted by Skuro.
Hey, remember that time that you had to chant that spell to fire that gun? No, neither do I. So this is a good change. Yeah, I'll second that, Piggy.
Yep.
If it makes you feel better about being a machinist, you get to be my machinist buddy. You get to be friends with a pig.
We're already friends.
Oh,
And
I
we're
love you
already
too.
friends with Skuro. I mean, he's a
And
pig.
Skuro's a
Yeah. So
Damn.
he beat you to it.
Oh, darn.
Anyway, Piggy, thanks for the call. We appreciate hearing from you.